A landmark High Court ruling on the National School Chaplaincy program has cast doubt on a wide range of other Commonwealth-funded programs. The High Court today ruled the program is constitutionally invalid because it exceeds the Commonwealth's funding powers. One education expert has raised the prospect of a threat to the funding for private schools. But as Amy Bainbridge reports, the government says it has contingency plans in place.
The National School Chaplaincy program began in 2007 under the Howard government and now runs in more than 2,500 schools across the country. But Toowoomba man Ron Williams wasn't happy with what he saw as the growing influence of religion and challenged the program in the High Court. It unanimously ruled against his religious objection. But it did find the funding arrangement breaches the Constitution because the government needs legislation to pay for the initiative.
The important thing is this is a decision that concerns just one historical funding model. The judges were unanimous in saying that there's no problem with chaplaincy from a church-state separation point. What that means is that chaplains are welcome in schools. We just need a new funding model.
I can see that there is a Pandora's box that possibly could open, letting loose a challenge to all federal funding, in particular to private schools around Australia.
Some believe the results of this case could reach even further into the community.
The sort of reasoning applied by the High Court would certainly affect other programs that don't have supporting legislation, as well as programs like those that relate to local government, the Roads to Recovery program. It could apply in areas of education, such as direct federal funding to private schools, to universities, potentially the sports and arts.
The government is already looking at ways to ensure the chaplaincy program continues. As for the wider implications, it says it's done a lot of contingency planning ahead of this court decision.
We will be able to now properly digest the decision of the judges and then look at which of the steps we have done contingency planning on will need to be implemented. But the direct impact is purely for the chaplains program. The indirect impact may be much more significant because this does go to the reach of executive power.
Nicola Roxon is already flagging changes to the way some funding is handed out.
It is clear that there is a cure for each of these problems that are identified, whether it's particular legislation, whether it's payments through the states, whether it's other sorts of contingency steps that can be taken.
The Greens have welcomed the ruling, saying Parliament should have more control over allocating public money.
What we need to see is a recognition now that there has been too much discretion, if you like, of the executive to be giving out money all over the country without it going through the parliaments.
For now, it's unclear how many Commonwealth-funded programs could be affected by the ruling. Amy Bainbridge, Late Line.